Beam by Lunacy Audio is a multi-effects plugin with a very flexible routing system and one of the most sleek looking, prettiest interfaces I have seen in a plugin. Just look at it, it's so pretty. Lunacy Audio sponsored this video, and that's a win-win because Beam has been on my go-to checklist for a long time, but I never got around it. In this video I will not go over every little detail of the plugin. Instead I will show you how to create two very useful effects with Beam. But first a bit of a run-through. When you start with a completely blank canvas you get this. Not much to see here, you have to add your effects. These effects are called nodes in Beam and you get the choice between 4 of those if you get the expansion effect. You can combine them to a total of 13, although there's a limit on how much you can use, and to be fair, that is usually a lot more than you would ever use within Beam. These effects are Space Node, which is a convolution reverb. You can even import your own impulses. The Grains Node is a granular effect, and when you dial it in the right way, this one works as a delay, as you will see in this video. The Filter Node is your filter effect. And the time node is not standard included, this is an effect you can get as an expansion. This one does time stretching, creative buffering and pitch shift. How you order all of these effects is done by dragging modules into a beam. And you can shuffle them around and create multiple parallel beams and mix the balance between those. On top of that you get a modulation control and a macro. So it's clear that Beam is an incredibly flexible multi-effects plugin. And it's easy to create wacky effects, as you can hear when you load up some of the presets. But why not create something useful? Here's this guitar with a lot of space between the notes. Ideal to demonstrate the sound of the effects. I want to create a stereo delay with movement and some diffusion. This will take about 3 minutes. Start with the Grains node. The trick is to set the size to 4:1 because this will give you the basis for a delay. And of course, enable the delay. Now create a new path to add a second grain node. We want nice stereo delay, right? Pan the grain nodes to opposite sides, and when you now change the timing and feedback of these delays, you get a true stereo delay. This now sounds rather direct. Adding a filter will sculpt the delay sound more. Let me blend in the original guitar, because we have been listening to the delay only up until now. You need the original sound because we are using this delay as an added effect and not as a replacement. I want the filter to move a bit. Let's use the LFO for that and pick one of the LFO shapes. You have to drag from here below onto a control to modulate it. And you can fine-tune this. Now when we want to smoothen the delay more, add a reverb after and fine-tune the settings. In the mix, this will sound like this. You get this huge dub vibe. I really like this. Before we continue, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and leave a like. Next up is a vocal. My goal is to create an esoteric spacey shimmer reverb to use as a sort of a pad, texture and soundscape to support this vocal.
Now's the time.
There will be no other instruments involved, just beam. First step is to add some delay to the vocal before we will create a soundscape below it.
For it passes on by, out of sight.
Changing the spray setting will already add extra depth.
Follow me, I'll show you places you've never seen. Hold tight, take a leap. More than just a memory. Now's the time.
We will create a second path and I will only add a reverb on that. A very long reverb at that. This will be the first step to a soundscape.
It passes on by, out of sight. So follow me, I'll show you places you've never seen.
This reverb reacts a bit too much on the higher frequencies of the vocal. Let's add a filter which can take care of that.
Now's the time. Take a moment and realize. Gotta catch it before it passes on by, out of sight. So follow me, I'll show you places you've never seen.
Now let's create the actual shimmer. The first step is to create a 1 octave up version of the vocal. I will use the time node for that.
Time. Take a moment and realize. Gotta catch it before it passes on by, out of sight. So follow me, I'll show you places you've never seen.
This octave up needs to fill the space. The grain node is for the delays once again.
Now's the time. Take a moment and realize. Gotta catch it before it passes on by, out of sight.
This octave up needs a lot of length. Let's add a reverb and make it very long.
Places you've never seen.
For a true shimmer, I also need a 2 octaves up pitch shift.
So follow me, I'll show you places you've never seen.
This is cool, but I think it deserves its own path. Grains for the pitch and a reverb for the length.
Now's the time. Take a moment and realize. Gotta catch it before it passes on by. Out of sight. So follow me. I'll show you places you've never seen. Hold on tight and take the lead. More than just a memory. Now's the time. Take a moment and realize.
Let's fine-tune the levels.
Gotta catch it before it passes on by. Out of sight. So follow me. I'll show you places you've never seen. Hold on tight and take the lead. More than just a memory. Now's the time. Take a moment and realize. Gotta catch it before it passes on by. Out of sight. So follow me. I'll show you places you've never seen. Hold on tight and take the lead. More than just a memory. Now's the time.
This is a very cool effect, and it shows that you can create really involved effects within Beam without even touching the modulation. Let's save this as a preset because I want to hear it on acoustic guitar as well. Let me fine-tune the levels. I think the original guitar has a bit too much bass and the initial delay is not needed. Let me swap the delay for a high-pass filter. Much better. Beam is a really cool multi-effect which can go from straightforward to really involved. Go check it out to see if it fits in your audio toolshed.